Okay, this is my PRS Silver Sky SE. Nylon blue color with a maple fretboard. Perfect combination in my opinion. In today's video, I'm going to do a small demo, give you the specs, play some tones, give you the backstory on how I came to acquire this guitar, and then we'll talk a little bit at the end about whether or not I should keep this guitar in light of some of the purchases I've recently made. But before we get started on all of that, some clean tones. The pickup switching on this guitar is your standard Strat layout. Position 1 is bridge only. Position 2 is bridge and middle. Position 3 is middle only. Position 4 is middle and neck. And position 5 is neck only. There's a master volume knob, which is the first knob closest to the bridge pickup. The second knob is a tone knob for the middle and neck pickups. And then the third knob gets a dedicated tone knob all the way at the bottom. Not altogether different than any other Fender, Squier, whatever Stratocaster you can think of. There's some companies out there like Ibanez who are having a whole heck of a lot of fun making new crazy switching technology in their AZ line, but this is a little bit more standard. We have a 2-point trim. When it comes from the factory, it's set up so that you can only pull down on the whammy bar, not up. That is a John Mayer specific spec. A lot of old guitars were like that before we came up with the floating trim idea. And a lot of people with the Silver Skies, they will go ahead and change that, which is super easy. You just got to adjust the springs in the back. Comment down below if you want to see me do a tutorial on how to take a trim that is not floating and turn it into a floating trim. Or if you want me to do a review going the other way, I can do that for you as well. This is a, I guess you would call it a 3-piece neck because it does have a scarf joint. You can see where the wood is different. And it is, and let me see if this will show up on camera. You can see that the neck and the fretboard are actually two separate pieces of maple, even though they look as if it's one piece. The bird inlays are some sort of acrylic. The nut is cut very, very well from the factory. No play at all. I didn't have to do any adjustments whatsoever. We got vintage style tuners, which have plastic buttons that are super cool looking. The color is really cool, but they definitely feel plastic. Not poor quality plastic, but definitely plastic. The neck is a satin finish that is very soft, very smooth. It's not as unfinished feeling as some lower end Jacksons. If you've ever played a Jackson JS series Dinky, they have a pretty unfinished feeling neck where you totally know you're holding a piece of wood. This is much, much smoother, much softer. You don't feel any grain. You don't feel any of the grain at all. And whether that's a really, really good sanding job or some sort of oil coating that is different than what Jackson uses, I don't know. What I would say is that it is definitely softer and smoother than a Jackson JS series. But this is about double the price, triple the price, depending on which Jackson model you're looking at. The pick guard is 3-ply, white, black, white. Nothing super special to write home about that. Got a cool backplate that is showing that it's the John Mayer signature model. As far as tuning stability goes, I found this to be very, very stable. I do not have to tune it very often. In fact, I didn't tune it before I recorded the samples that are in this video. I do have it set with a floating bridge. I have it set to E flat standard, and I have it with 10 gauge strings on it, 10 to 48 Stringjoys, I believe. This thing lives for the most part in an air-conditioned, humidity-controlled bedroom / office, but it does also go on camping trips with me. I will take it in my RV on camping trips, and in the RV, the temperature fluctuations are a lot more than they are at home. Just the nature of RVs, their AC isn't quite as efficient as your house is. So it will have 10-degree temperature fluctuations in the RV, and it stays in tune, and it stays with the neck being pretty stable. I would give really good marks to the construction and quality of this particular instrument. The frets on here are really nice. They are smooth. They are well treated. They look to be like a little aged or tarnished in some way. I don't know if that's part of the marketing material. I don't remember hearing about that, but they are less shiny than some of my other guitars when new, and that's how this guitar came. So they were like a little dull, a little vintagey. Not crazy, but a little. The frets do overhang the fretboard a little bit, but they're not sharp. They're soft and round to the feel, and it's never bothered me while I'm playing. Now, to be fair, I mostly play chorded, progressions on this kind of guitar rather than a bunch of whittly-do moving up and down the neck type stuff. So it hasn't bothered me. I think it's fine. Okay, now how did I end up with this specific guitar? Well, a couple of years ago, when I started playing guitar again, I had a Jackson Warrior as my only guitar. And I decided that I needed a non-Warrior guitar. So I bought that Telecaster over my shoulder and loved that, played that. But then I got the bug. Gear acquisition syndrome, is that what they call it? I decided I needed a Strat and a Les Paul as well. So I bought that 1959 Les Paul, which there's a review of that, as well as the Warrior on my channel. I'll link to those in the description and maybe put a card up somewhere around here. And then I got this. So I got the Les Paul and this at the same time. At that time, I also got a Blackstar St. James 6L6 1x12 combo, which I'll review that later on, and a couple of other cables and a pick pack and all of that kind of stuff. So why this color and why the Silver Sky? When I started looking at Strats, I was looking at the Fenders and Squires, and nothing truly spoke to me, although I probably had 4 or 5 different ones saved as like, well, this is a good Strat example. But shortly after I started researching it, I came across the PRS Silver Skies at roughly the exact time that the Maple Fretboard SE line was launching. And this headstock with the Maple Fretboard and these birds, it just spoke to me. I was like, that's cool. So I wanted to get one. Now the colors that were available with the Maple Fretboard, the Nylon Blue was my favorite. It's got blue and green sort of hues to it, which I'm a fan of blue and green. So it was perfect. So I ended up, like I said, buying this. It came in, loved it, played it for quite a while before the gas got to me, and I started buying even more guitars. And you can see there's a lot now, and more on the way, I'm certain of it. So why, though, am I now thinking of getting rid of it? This is a tough question. So I bought this as my Strat example when I was first getting back into guitar. Now, growing up, when I played guitar before, like I said, I had a Jackson Warrior because I played metal. I played like metalcore, European thrash, melodic death metal, Amon Amarth, In Flames, you know, The Absence, all of these kinds of bands were what I was into. And so the Warrior fit perfect for that. And I didn't even try back then to learn how to play guitar like a real person. I just played metal. So I bought the Strat thinking, okay, I need a Strat in order to learn how to play not metal guitar. That was my thinking. That was my thought process. But something happened. I ended up on a whim, fully unprepared to do it, buying the slime green Jackson American Series Soloist behind me, which I'm going to have to review for you in a future video. And that did something. It's an HSS. It has the position 4, position 5 thing going on, which is largely the reason why you get a Strat. If you want fun bridge stuff, you know, almost any pickup will do that. If you want a nice clean tone, almost any set of pickups will do that. If you want the Stratty quacky stuff, you need a Strat. So my metal machine, my Jackson American Soloist, now had the ability to do the Strat quacky stuff. And then I found a Charvel. The green Charvel up there, which I've also reviewed on this channel. Again, I'll link to it below. And it also has the position 4, position 5 Strat thing. So I now have 2 high-end, well-spec'd guitars that do the Stratocaster thing, but they also do the metal thing that I like. And as I've been learning and playing, yeah, sure, I'm learning some more non-metal stuff, some blues and jazz and other things like that, but I'm still playing a lot of metal. And to be fair, the Jackson neck still just feels the best for me, the speed neck. This neck is very big compared to those ones and very round, and the fretboard is very round as well. So about the only thing this guitar has going for it that beats the 2 HSS Jackson Charvels behind me is the curvature of the fretboard at 9.5-inch radius makes it a little easier to do some chorded shapes, but mostly only the full all 6-string bar chord stuff. On the Jacksons, they're 12-inch radius down here, so they're still pretty easy to chord on, but I might have a little bit of trouble with the full neck bar chords. So now I'm sort of trying to figure out if I even really need this guitar anymore. So do me a favor, comment down below. Do you think there's any use for a PRS Silver Sky when I have HSS Jacksons and Charvels behind me? I'd like to see if you guys think I have a redundancy issue, or if maybe the versatility of a true Strat style guitar actually has a place in my collection. If you've made it all the way to the end of this video, I appreciate you sticking around. If you liked the content, if you like this video, hell, if you just like PRS, please like this video, go ahead and subscribe to my channel and ring the bell icon. That way you'll see when the reviews of the American Series SL3 and the Telecaster come out. But I've also got a Martin acoustic that I'm excited to show you, and a special guitar that will come out in several weeks. I'm very excited about that one, but I'm going to keep it secret for now. But until then, see you later.